Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. I'm, of course, Nick McDaniel. And, man, our head correspondent, Myron Fancher. How are you, buddy?
Doing good. I think that's just because I have the largest head of anyone
Could
here
be.
at the podcast network. Y'all missed another 30-minute conversation about what makes wrestling good. Is it because you like it or because it's actually good or because it draws money? One day we're going to get those on the air. It's quite fascinating to argue about that. But I tell you what, as far as money goes, y'all need to be supporting your local wrestlers, even if it means buying a shirt with this ugly little Kenny Beckner on it.
That's right, man.
Mean
Lots of
George.
ways. Yep. Buy shirts and all that good stuff. Buy our shirts. ProWrestlingTees.com. Head over there. Buy some indie wrestler shirts. Buy some of our shirts. Anybody's shirts. Or, look, you can also subscribe over on our Patreon, patreon.com/tappedoutpod. Become a member there. Get the show early and often. Just like on YouTube, you can like, subscribe, turn your notifications on so you get all the episodes as they drop. Of course, as you know now, on YouTube, pretty much everything is there. Not everything is on the audio feeds anymore. That's why you can also become a member there and get the bonus content we've been putting out. A couple things already dropped early this week. I talked to some guys this morning. Coffee and Crossfaces, first thing in the morning, we're going to record the guys that recorded they watched Dynamite for the first time in like a year and a half last week, and then we recorded the next morning what they thought, and they were like, hey, we want to do a follow-up to the follow-up of the Tony Khan story, so that'll be hopefully dropping first thing in the morning as well. Remember, $10 levels, $25 levels, lots of different things. $5 levels get you the stuff early, going forward. Obviously, we talked about that went out last month. We made that announcement. So, look, we appreciate all your support everywhere, whether it's on Patreon, YouTube. Become a member. Don't just, watch along. And lots of cool stuff. Just trying to think. A couple new series debuted this week.
Oh, yeah. Folks, get out there and support us. We have action figures to buy. Look at that lovely action figure over Nick's right shoulder. What is that you got there, Nick?
It is our Cruel action figure. Got to back it up. It says Mads Kruger, but he is, of course, as you can, I don't know if you could see the signature there on the front. Cruel is how I wanted mine signed. Check those out. Turn it around here. MLW that has those for sale. Buy you one, or find a poster with a Cruel on it. Give him a follow on social media. How about that? And then you'll know where he's at, because he's all over the country, folks. Oh, yeah. Go out and see him, get you a figure, and have him autograph that bad boy for you. So
we finally got to run him down again. Got to catch him at the action show down there in Tyrone. Good to see him. Great show. Man, they're doing wonderful things down there.
They are, man. Look, tons of stuff, dude. Mailbag full this week. Yes, folks, 2 weeks back-to-back with mailbag episodes, because when we got this many letters sent in and questions, I was like,
we got letters.
Do you believe I'm that old that I actually let that come out of my mouth? I actually said letters sent in. We got emails sent. Yeah, I am officially old.
The postmaster, Nick goes down to the post office and opens our box, and it is stacked. They actually give him one of those tubs of mail. It won't all fit in the box. So give Nick a tub of letters, and I have to come over to his house and help him open and sort all of your mail.
That's right.
And we picked the best ones. And today's first letter we picked is from a fellow named Alex Warren in Ridgefield, Connecticut. Alex asks, do you think anything huge happens at WWE Backlash this weekend? Now, this is another one of our overseas PLEs. See, I like saying that. Overseas PLEs. Gonna have a lot of those until SummerSlam. All our PLEs will be overseas.
Well, to answer your question, Alex, I hate to be this guy, but I don't think so.
I have to yeet and disagree. I think we're going to see a change in the title on Raw. I think we're going to see Jay Uso. God, my lack of pronunciation skills today is going to win unless he is interfered with by the bloodline.
You don't think Judgment Day stops him, or do you think?
I don't think Judgment Day is anywhere what it used to be.
Well, here's the thing. Damian Priest has asked him not to. If anybody interferes, I think that's why they do. The only way he loses is if the Judgment Day attempts to interfere and cost him the championship. But here's the question. Do you want to have babyface champions on both shows? Because Cody, over on Smackdown, and Jay over on... Do you want babyface champions on both? Or do you want to mix it up and have one of each on?
Yeah, you're probably right about that. And as much as I love AJ Styles, I can't see him ending the story of the ending of the story.
No.
Because Cody is so hot right now and so popular. And, people, we were at that fundraiser Saturday and a kid comes up to me and starts talking about ending the story of Cody Rhodes. And I'm like, people don't come up to me. And we had that it was a question later in the episode. People don't come up to me and ask me about wrestling that aren't inside the wrestling business or wrestling fans. So wrestling is doing something good now. Wrestling is reaching out.
Look, are we too soon? Because when you look at the champions that are like Bayley wins at WrestleMania, Damian Priest won at WrestleMania, Cody won at WrestleMania. Is it just too soon any of those three to lose? Straight up, I think the men's, it's out of the question. And I'm saying this isn't me speculating. The novelty could be because the women's is a triple threat. There's a possibility because Bayley could lose the title without being pinned or submitted. So if any title is going to change hands, I could see Tiffany Stratton potentially winning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I think the main title that's going to change hands is the women's tag team title because Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are the ones that are going to put that on because that's marketing right there. That's gold. That's gold, Jerry. That's gold.
So I hadn't thought of this, but you might be right, and I'll tell you why. The women's tag team champions bounce from show to show. It gives you an excuse of why Jade and Bianca can be on both shows for a little while. Yeah. So I could see that being a potential.
Yeah, and that's magic.
Now, define huge. I could potentially see Jacob Fatu debuting for the Bloodline versus Orton and Owens. That could be the bit. If anything happens huge, I could see that being the thing that happens.
What about old Paul? Is Paul not doing some of his best work? Is he not doing Hall of Fame worthy work with this scared Paul, uncertain Paul, worried Paul? I love what he's doing right now. It's so entertaining. It's just so damn entertaining, wrestling. Wrestling is so entertaining. I look forward to it nowadays.
Yeah, it's doing really hot, and there's more Bloodline story down the road. I'm sure we'll have more conversations with that. But yeah, that's my take. If anything major happens, I could see Jacob Fatu debuting. That's probably my answer to the question,
you're right.
Alex. So.
I think that's probably your big point.
Yeah.
Our friend Anthony Medina, not related to the Funky Cold Medina, if you old people recognize that one. He lives in Nash, Texas. Anthony Medina wants to know, did you guys think the WWE Draft was a bit of a letdown because there wasn't a lot of actual movement of the talent? Well, what did you think, Nick? I did a spreadsheet on this, and I might do a breakdown on it later.
Let's save some of that for the breakdown. I agree. But to answer the question itself, kind of, I do. I don't know. Did they have to? A lot of people didn't move. I don't know that that's why I would call it necessarily, I would say, a disappointment. I just don't feel that the methods that they choose sometimes don't make sense. If you have got to give me an explanation, like they gave me a reason nobody drafted Roman Reigns. I got that. Tell me why your first pick isn't Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton. You know what I mean? I know champions were
champions were not.
I got that. I got that.
Okay.
Randy
CM
Orton
Punk.
wasn't. CM Punk. Literally, I'm thinking of the top tier guys who didn't have titles then. Why are they not the first to go? Why do we randomly get teams that you're like, why would they be ahead of X, Y, and Z?
Why was Chelsea Green and Piper Niven actually in the draft, like mentioned in the draft? Why was Carmelo Hayes in the first round?
Okay.
I mean,
I can justify that one.
I get Jey Uso. See, the first round where Raw picked Jey Uso and Seth Rollins, and then Braun Breaker and Liv Morgan. That made perfect sense. Okay? SmackDown went with Bianca Belair. Why?
Why did you take Liv Morgan over Jade Cargill?
Well, Jade Cargill didn't move to way later on down.
I think there was a scenario where there were a pool of talents that were only available on those nights.
That was the only justification I could see behind that.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, I got it. So
the more and more I look at this, there are stuff that doesn't make sense, Nick. There's Ricochet picked in the same thing as LA Knight. Ricochet, who they've tried and tried and tried to do something with, and he's never. And he went above the Bloodline and Sheamus.
Point.
I don't get it.
That's my point.
I don't. Why was Baron Corbin drafted at all?
I think he's done tremendous work in NXT. I admire the fact that they are going to attempt to give him another run now that he's seasoned a little more.
Okay. CM Punk was drafted equal to the Pride, which was the new Bobby Lashley faction name. I don't think that was justified. Braun Strowman and Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton, all the potential in the world for the women's division, the future of the women's division. Braun Strowman. The only thing I see in that is if they're actually going to do the whole Bray Wyatt faction thing again. Maybe. Then you wait and draft Drew McIntyre after Braun Strowman. Unless you're trying to purposely piss off Drew McIntyre for the storyline.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. We were looking at names and we were like, anybody that's going to make any significant change. When I look at the SmackDown, Orton, like Orton's a move. Carmelo Hayes. I think he's a player, by the way. That's why I said I can make that justification. Carmelo Hayes is your prospect pick. He's your number one pick from a perspective. Look, we had the NFL draft this weekend, and we'll discuss that more in a minute. But people are being picked on what's called upside. Carmelo Hayes is an upside guy. I'm not saying he hasn't proven himself to be a tremendous talent, but he's not Randy Orton yet, right? Orton's picked because everybody knows what you're getting. So those two, I sit there and go, those were, to me, the SmackDown players. Are there good bench players? And I don't mean this as a negative, by the way. You still need good. Yeah. Nakamura, yes, whatever. And then when it comes to Raw, I think we both kind of were. Braun Breaker clearly, again, was their prospect pick. He was their Carmelo Hayes pick.
Yes.
You said Lyra Valkyria, same thing, right? We're like, hey, prospect picked. I feel they were more. Braun was their go-to safe pick. They got a monster. They got a big dude. But the others, I think, a lot of them are prospect picks for Raw.
Yeah. Raw did more prospecting. SmackDown seemed to have really shored up their women's division. Their women's division is incredibly strong. Raw added prospects to their women's division. Raw added more prospects across the board, adding Ilya Dragovich. That was the best men's prospect in the whole draft. However you're going to say that.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the attempt. Go ahead. It's good.
Yeah, the thing is, I can listen to it all day long, but it doesn't register in this dome. I mean, we had a conversation between the show, and
Dragunov.
you had to give me a guy's name 3 times because his name wouldn't register in my head.
It's all good.
It happens like that sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think what we're going to do, if they stick to these drafts somewhat better than usual for storytelling, we might have some impact to this. This might be a big deal. You might see this as being entertaining.
I'll break it down, Myron. Agree or disagree. Raw prospected because it's a 3-hour show and they need to grow. Yes. Smackdown, let's go with what we got. Established names. We've got Cody. We got they went more I don't want to say the safer pick, but they kind of went with what they knew. So
they're a higher rated show. Raw's going to Netflix. Okay? SmackDown is on a network. Raw goes to Netflix.
But remember in October SmackDown's to USA, and so it'll be on a cable net, so it'll be shifted around, and God, who knows? We may have another draft before that.
If you weren't drafted, did you fall to NXT? Is that how that worked?
That's where they need more help. I just, at the end of the day, here's Nick's take. I understand the concept. There almost needs to be like a PLE where they do a draft all day, and they just everybody's accounted for. Yeah. And like you said, if it's Raw has X amount of roster spots, SmackDown has X amount, they can pick that 3-2 ratio or whatever they do. Yeah. However, and then they can fill their rosters. And then if you didn't get drafted, yes, you're in NXT.
Well, I mean, did you watch Spring Breaking Part 2 last night?
Mm-hmm.
Natalya, God, you forget how good Natalya is. She's just phenomenal. Yeah. And that match, Lola Vice, just amazing. You're going to keep seeing great things. They're going to shore that up. They've got to quit the dumbass acting. Sorry. It's got out of control. I keep trying, but it's just stupid. It's just stupid. I love the talent. I love what they're doing, and then I just watch it. And it's like, donk.
Character development and what we like.
I know it's character development. I know it's practice, but it's just so extreme.
And I said, and what we like.
I know.
So
I'm trying. I'm trying, but it's going on the network. It's going to go on regular TV. If anybody actually has regular TV.
CW, but yes.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yes.
You know what I mean. Well, let's get on to the next question before I rant and rave anymore. Wayne Young from Brightwood, Virginia. Was that a Fallout location?
It could have been.
Like a Fallout location.
It should be.
With guys like Finn Balor and now Drew re-signing with WWE and all of their momentum, do you think we'll see a decline in talents leaving for AEW? Well, I've got a good answer to this one, so go ahead and fire first.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, we're going to see a massive, as long as they're getting the quality creative and the money and the quality creative and getting the matches they want to watch and the matches they want to be in. And they're not freaks like Daniel Bryan, who wants to kill himself in the ring, or Edge, who wants to wrestle at 75. They're not going to be leaving WWE at the same rate. Especially not with the silliness going on right now.
Well, so here's my rebuttal to that. Are we going to see Finn Balor, Drew McIntyre, Becky's name was dropped, Seth's name was dropped. I think that part, I don't see a lot of those people leaving. I think the big reason, you think it's silly, but I think I understand. There are some guys who just want to be the best wrestler in the world. You're not going to be more than likely, you are not going to be the best wrestler in the world in WWE. You could be, but you're not going to be known for that. If you want to be the best wrestler in the world, you got to go to Japan. But if you're going to do it in this country, you got to go to AEW / Ring of Honor, whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I do understand there are talents who want that. There are talents who want to wrestle beyond, what WWE may believe they have in the tank. Okay, and I think we need to differentiate. Like, I also come into fruition, they're a business now. WWE is going to let people go, and we need to determine what's the difference between AEW took you away in free agency or WWE decided, yeah, we're going to pass, and then you go over there and get a big payday. That's two different things, and that's two different vehicles and two different arguments. So do I think less people move from WWE to AEW? No, because I think there are going to be people let go. There's going to be people that aren't going to get an offer. Tony Khan has come out and basically said they're going to be aggressive in the summer in trying to sign free agents. So there's nothing wrong with that. If you've done everything you feel like you can accomplish in the WWE and there's a bigger payday for you, totally respect it. Go make your money. I understand.
Yeah, I get it. But then again,
it's a great opportunity too for young talents. Like we see these guys being let go from NXT. Do a Cody move, bet on yourself, go out there, work indies, work AEW, improve and get better to prove your value to come back again if that's what you want to do.
I see the thing is I worry, and I keep going back to somebody that knows wrestling better than most people, somebody I listen to very, very closely. A variation of what he said, me and you we didn't have a lot of money growing up. So when we got an action figure, we played to that thing like crazy. We didn't have, we might have 12 action figures and we played with those guys. But Tony Khan just goes out and buys action figures. He's got all the money to go to Toys R Us and buy the entire G.I. Joe lineup, but he can't play with them all. So he just puts them on the shelf, and some of them get pushed to the back when the new wave of G.I. Joes come out. And he signs these people. And there's a lot of people that just wind up in the back of the pile and don't work and don't get on. I mean, I guess they draw money, but they don't get to work. And I know WWE may have a problem with that, but they see AEW seems like they don't. They hire these people, they don't get as much use out of them. And maybe you can work more independence that way. As long as you can work independence and get the thing. I don't see a lot of the benefits as far as development in AEW as you used to be able to get. I think you're probably better off, if you want to do that, going to TNA. If you want to really get that time in, go to TNA instead of AEW. It might be the better choice.
If the money's better in AEW, though, that's the argument. It's if the contract's slated better, then that's a hard argument to make too. But I get it, dude.
All this uncertainty can be scary, though.
That is correct. And of all the things that are the most scary, our buddy William over at William Scary Things.
Ooh.
Are you a fan of the strange, mysterious, and unusual? Do you enjoy stories told firsthand about creepy experiences? UFO encounters, ghostly apparitions, near-death and afterlife experiences, even parallel universes? Well, if so, you need to check out the YouTube channel William Scary Things. It is a new, albeit determined channel. William was influenced as a kid by books, movies, stories, all that were passed down by his friends and family, and they all had a creepy theme. What started out as a scary story narration is now a long-form interview process with people who have experienced weird and unusual things firsthand. Do you want to hear about a house with the former owners that were laid to rest right in the front yard? Yeah, told by yours truly. Well, if so, William Scary Things has you covered. How about a witness to the Phoenix Lights, probably the most renowned UFO sighting in modern history? Maybe you want to hear about a first-hand encounter with a ghostly apparition late one night with a photo to boot. No problem. William's got you covered there too. Were you a fan of the Scary Stories to Tell and Dark Book series as a kid? Want to learn more about the Solway Firth Spaceman? Well, if so, it's all right there. So head on over to William Scary Things and check out his latest episodes and give him a like, subscribe to the channel, heck, leave a comment. Trust me, there's nothing to be scared of. That's right, man. Check out our buddy old William over at William Scary Things. Give him, and by the way, if you're behind the paywall, he'll be one of the ones joining me tomorrow as we break down Dynamite after the follow-up to the big angle. So,
celebrity guests.
That's right, man. All right, brother. Well, let's keep it rolling.
I don't know about this one, Nick. This one here might be a 45-minute question. I'm going to try to roll it up quicker though. Lawrence Edwards, Kings Mountain, North Carolina. That's not where they make the King's Hawaiian rolls, by the way. Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Lawrence Edwards asked, "What did you guys think of Tony Khan selling the neck injury on the NFL Network during the draft coverage?"
Look, I won't lie. The selling the neck I thought was awesome. Kudos.
I thought that was awesome too. But didn't we just have a long conversation where you said, maybe AEW is just not for you, Myron? Yeah. Maybe it's just about wrestling. Maybe it's just about pure wrestling. It's not for a guy who just likes kayfabe and things like that.
Well, no, he likes kayfabe, but I just meant the wrestling is more wrestling based than it is going out there with character development, etc., or whatever. Because look, everybody wants to crap. I tell people you got to be fair. Well, they don't tell stories. Well, they're trying to tell one now. Are you going to let it play out? Nope. We jumped all over it after 1 week.
Well, here's the problem with the whole thing. He had his neck brace on, and he was selling, and it was fun. I thought it was kind of cool. It was kind of fun. He's there wearing his neck brace. He's got his kayfabe going. He gets on the NFL Network. They ask him some questions. He makes a Harvey Weinstein comment. He assaults the WWE.
I'm going to hit the pause button. I clearly wanted to define that I'm separating these two things. The question was about the neck injury, and we're going there because I wanted to go there, but I want to separate. I loved the kayfabe with the neck brace.
Yes,
but look, Pat McAfee's guys, Mad Mel, the character, the gimmick from on that they were playing. Yeah, how about you not sit there with a neck brace on and then move your neck all around? I would have appreciated that a little more. I appreciate the efforts. I do. Pause. Now we're going to go back to what you said.
Remember that episode of Brady Bunch?
Yeah.
Where they were in court and they dropped the suitcase.
Yeah. Now to go to your second thing, this is where he lost me on the weekend, and literally probably lost me entirely for the entire weekend issues. Not only did I say I was in a group chat. I can't remember. I couldn't remember if it was mine, yours, and Heath's or not when I said this. I said
we were at Disruptor probably.
Yeah, but I said that's borderline. Like, okay, it's irresponsible. I think it was an irresponsible statement. I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to make themselves look like the babyface and WWE look like the heels of the situation. It was an irresponsible comment. Borderline slander in the sense of, and the reason I'm massively saying it's, I would say that it was irresponsible. We don't know the levels and the depths of who knew and all of this stuff. I got you. There are a lot of people who work there who are really good people, and you literally just lump them into that situation. Like, I mean, essentially, they're the Harvey Weinstein of the, that's everybody, like, are you trying to just kind of imply that they all knew that this was going on and everybody they're the evil ones and we're the good guys? And, well, you walk back on some of your statements too about not letting people, look, we're talking two majorly separate things, but, you said you weren't going to separate people, from their contracts early, that you're going to let them ride out. You did that, blah, 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 blah. Now,
yeah, but
Vince McMahon, bad. I got it. Vince McMahon, bad. Yeah. But that's not everybody in the company. But to put that out there, the reason it's irresponsible, if there's one thing we know about our society, Myron, okay, that's the NFL Network. There's a ton of people who don't watch wrestling watching that. And he made that statement. They don't know any better. They may not have been paying attention to the stories that it's going on. That's why I said it's A, it's just outright irresponsible. B, borderline slanderous in the sense of tons of people now have to live with that brand that he has slapped on them on a network where people just aren't even in the know of what's probably going on.
It's made all of wrestling look bad, in Myron's humble opinion. It was not a good look for wrestling. And we also put this, he didn't say that WWE is Harvey Weinstein sexual. WWE behaves like Harvey Weinstein. They said they are the Harvey Weinstein of professional wrestling. They basically said they're an entire company of rapists or sexual, whatever the hell Harvey Weinstein did. And we're good guys. Okay. Right. They're going to rape us. They didn't say people did some horrible things there. He betrayed the entire company as trying to rape him. And that is bad. And he said, we're the good guys. They're the bad guys. They're the Harvey Weinstein of professional wrestling. Not they had Harvey Weinstein there.
Right.
There's a difference in calling Vince Harvey Weinstein or saying Harvey Weinstein works there. He said, they're the Harvey Weinstein. Yeah. That's the entire company is planning on raping us. Also, he said they're Pepsi, and Pepsi sucks. Every Pepsi product sucks. End of story. Coca-Cola is much better. I don't care. Comparing yourself to Pepsi makes your product invalid in my eyes. I'd rather drink my own urine than Pepsi. I told a guy that in Kroger. He looked at me like I was insane.
Well, but that is an insane statement, but
I would.
Look, but Dr. Pepper, because I know that's one everybody always comes back with. I think they actually are a separate company that's distributed by Pepsi. It's a whole other argument.
Sometimes some places are distributed by Coke because Chick-fil-A has Dr. Pepper.
Right, they're a separate company. Like, people always assume that like Dr. Pepper is a Pepsi product. It's kind of it's not.
It is not.
Long, complicated story. I just thought it was irresponsible. I'll leave it at that. I mean, I just thought the comment was irresponsible. The neck brace, thumbs up. I appreciate your efforts.
Well, why do you do that on the NFL Network? Why did you? If you're going to do something that stupid, do it in front of Dave Meltzer and your whack-off crew. Okay? Mm-hmm. Don't put it on the NFL Network. You've already drawn attention to the wrestling bit with the neck brace. And so you're going to take positive attention and turn it into that.
Right.
Dumbass.
So, anyway.
Take his mic away. Okay. We're going to go now to our friend Alex, another guy from North Carolina. Alex Austin from Spring Lake, North Carolina, wants to know, if AEW were to build a team AEW to face off with the Elite, who do you think it should be? So now we're dealing with the Elite, and that's who's in that? That's the Bucks and Jack Perry now?
And Jack Perry.
Okada.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all Elite.
Yep.
So we're gonna have to have somebody who's
Hold on. We got to pause here because I'm gonna give you the scenario that I put this question in my head, because we got to be thinking very similarly in the sense of essentially. And look, by the way, I am not comparing it to the NWO. I am not. However, I know that's the popular thing to do right now, is everybody's trying to compare it to the NWO. So we'll look at it from the perspective of it's this team it's a group of guys who are trying to take down the company from the end. So for one, obviously we're recording this on Wednesday. We have to do this every week. It's crazy. We're recording it on Wednesday morning prior to Dynamite. Obviously, if you're listening and you're not a Patreon or a YouTube member, you're getting it after Dynamite is aired, so this may be off or not. But I'm going to go out on a limb because we're recording beforehand. Kenny Omega is going to be on Dynamite tonight, last night, depending on what day you're listening to. I think Kenny Omega probably, because he got booted out for not showing up to work. They couldn't explain why. He just, diverticulitis. I mean, why is that keeping you from coming to work? I don't know.
That's nasty stuff.
Yeah. So I think Kenny probably, because look, the problem is we don't know as of recording right now what his status is. Like, can he wrestle? Can he not wrestle? We don't know. I think he's a great face of the team to challenge them or try to run them off. However, I think it backfires because I think if Kenny Omega gets involved, Kenny Omega needs a good heel run, and there's an easy way to get him to it. He's going to turn. Don't trust Kenny Omega to fight against the Young Bucks and against Okada and against Jack Perry. They need another home run hitter, and Kenny Omega's that guy for them. So if he gets involved, he's turning.
Well, Okada can't talk, and Jack Perry is about as appealing as Dale Brett, right?
Well, some people say that about my second choice of Hangman Page. I think he's a spectacular wrestler. I do.
To Dale Brett.
I like Hangman Page. I'm probably in the minority. But look, they booted him out too, so therefore he could be a good option as well. The next one's kind of like, okay, you were trying to do there's a single tag. So a lot of people are going to go straight to FTR so they can feud with the Bucks. I agree with your statement we had off air. We've already seen this 4 times, and since they've been there together, I prefer maybe the BCC getting involved.
Well, who's all in the Blackstool Combat Club now?
Look, my takes of it. I know there's more folks. I'm fully aware who they are. To me personally, it's Danielson, Claudio, and Moxley. That's your real members, if you want to call.
Okay.
People can say Wheeler, Yuta, and all that. I'm like, look, those are the 3. And the reason I say that I prefer that as an option, I think you can have Claudio and Moxley feuding with the Bucks. I don't know why I even think that's an option. But you also have Danielson now who could turn around and give you some spectacular matches with Okada.
Yeah.
And by the way, Omega, if he turns and when he's healthy, there's your other option as well.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. You could get a bunch of great matches out of this.
Correct.
And what about Ospreay? You got him in here somewhere.
I just think him keep away from it.
Keep him out of it.
I do. I don't know why. I just don't want him marred down in anything other than, hey, I'm best wrestler on the planet, dude, and I'm going for a title. It's kind of why, like, I don't want Swerve Strickland dragged into it because, like, hey, let him be the champion. Let him build Swerve. There's certain guys that I'm like, build. Now, the other 3 that I put on our list, they're long shots for a couple. They're all different reasons, in my opinion. One is Hook. I think it's a great way to make Hook one of your big-time faces of your company, but you probably need to re-sign him first because he's talking about he's going to test free agency. I know Triple H has kind of put out there he's interested. Therefore, you might want to re-sign him first, but if you do re-sign him, which I think there's a good chance they can because of money, I think Hook's a good option to try to build. Darby Allin is one of your pillars of your original company. I know you're not a big fan of Darby, but look, he's over, dude. He's massively over. Look, Sting did him tremendous favors for building him.
Yes, he is massively over.
Yeah.
Extremely over.
So,
but the guy got hit by a bus. The guy wants to climb Mount Everest. The guy's got a broken foot. The guy...
He's an adrenaline junkie, Myron. We talked about this.
I could understand him if he was a heroin junkie, but not an adrenaline junkie. What the hell? Who gets hit by a bus?
Dude, that could happen to anybody. Just walking in the street and bing.
But how does it keep happening to that dumbass?
Listen, I'm a fan of Darby. I do like Darby. I think his status in the company is big enough that I think he could. The problem with him is his wild card is health. When's he coming back? And time will tell. The last one is MJF. Look, we get it. He's got to have surgery. Now they're saying, so he's going to be out a while.
Mm-hmm.
He could be there. Look, we're talking NWO storyline. This is where the comparisons kind of come in. How long can they draw this out? Can this be a year and a half storyline where they're doing all kinds of craziness? If so, once his shoulder's operated on, can MJF be the Sting figure where he's always looming around? He's always around, but he doesn't get physical, and literally you could drag that out for the whole time until he's healthy.
I honestly think he's going to want to just hole up and wait till his contract expires.
He can't. They can tack on time because of the injury. So until he fulfills all of that, that's what I mean by, is that part of the reasoning that he just resigns and he stays and they plug him in? I don't know. I really don't.
Uh,
But those are some of the names. I would love to know people's thoughts, tappedoutpod@gmail.com, who they think, if you were putting together a team of 4 for now, who would that be? Who would you make those members be to fight off the elite in AEW?
So you were talking about Swerve Strickland. What about the people saying he can't talk? He's got a manager with him. Why isn't the manager talking?
That whole situation is just completely overblown. Swerve Strickland can cut a promo. His manager can cut a promo. Why he's not talking? Okay, that's a different argument. I have no idea. I don't know why they're not out there getting their celebration moment. I don't even. If somebody had asked that question, we could have went down that rabbit hole. But I have no idea why they're not. That's a creative question. That's not a Swerve problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
Okay. I'm trying to figure it out. It doesn't. Their pay-per-view buys were down for the greatest match of all time, and Swerve Strickland is your champion. So maybe I'm not buying it. That's just me. Doesn't seem like other people are too. But we're going to go on to our good friend Tony Chambers out of Hyattsville, Maryland, and see what he says about this issue. What do you guys think of AEW losing 2 of its international streaming deals in 1 week? Now, the panic was all across the internet about this. Everybody's like, oh no, nobody's going to see him. It's death. It's going downhill. Everything's bad. But you don't agree.
I do not.
You have a different opinion.
Look, I could be totally wrong. I'm the first one to admit that it's possible. The 2 they lost, by the way, I know people try to pronounce them. I called it DAZN, D-A-Z-N. It was primarily like a European deal for them. They essentially carried everything for them over there on the streaming service. This thing, so they signed 3 years last year, but they had an out after 1 year. Clearly, they have chosen the out. They lost VIX, V-I-X. It was in Mexico, Latin America, and the Caribbean. Kind of a very similar issue. Very similar. The problem was, I will give DAZN's people credit. They kind of came out and said, hey, look, they did underperform other than All In. That did well. Shocking, the pay-per-view from your country did well. But other than that, they were, it underperformed. But yet they had the decency to at least come out and say, hey, it's not all on them. We really didn't make the investment like we do in MMA. I understand the whys. They make a bulk of their money comes from boxing MMA. So therefore, what would you sink your money into? Your known commodity.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be stunned, however, if when these things started coming in, I tend to believe there's a potential. I'm speculating at this point, by the way. At least I have the humility, unlike a lot of people, to say, I could be wrong. I don't know everything.
But I could be wrong.
I think there's a possibility that they could be leveraging at the same time. Who's to say they didn't, when they came to them with these, hey, we probably want to do these outs, AEW says, yeah, let's take the outs, no fight, we want out too. What if during this negotiation period with Warner Brothers Discovery, are they trying to just package it all in one lump sum? We want to be on the Warner Brothers Discovery networks with our shows, or on your streaming service with Max, et cetera, et cetera. Like, we just want to make it one go-to package and I'm not saying they are, but it's cool to have that as a leverage opportunity for now.
It'd be nice not to have to pay $50 for a damn pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
That's still going to be the case. I still think you're going to pay for that.
Well, shit. But I mean, the people in Europe being able to get it in one spot, not having to search down a streaming service for this and that, or buying it through your basic cable. I wouldn't even know how to buy a pay-per-view through cable. I haven't done that shit since I lived in an apartment 30 years ago. Think about it. When's the last time you bought a pay-per-view through cable?
The month before the network launched, like a decade ago.
Okay.
Because we haven't had cable. We haven't had cable in probably 5 years. Maybe 4. It's almost been it's been over 4 years because it was pre-COVID.
So yeah,
The old measuring stick, COVID.
Yeah, God, you got to put everything up against that for Christ's sake.
So,
well, when did everything go to hell? Oh, COVID.
Yeah.
When did you do this? Well, COVID.
Yeah. Well, Myron,
Oh,
I got another thing when everything's going to go to hell.
where's that?
That is this Friday.
Oh no,
We're going to be in Canton, and everything's going to go to hell in the War Chamber, baby.
Attention wrestling fans, join us Friday, May 3rd for SHW 62. Live from the Action Building in Canton, Georgia. Featuring special guest matchmaker, Paul Walter Hauser. Plus, 2 rings, 1 cage as the hierarchy and the in-game collide in the War Chamber. All this and so much more. Tickets on sale at the door the night of the show starting at 5 p.m. Doors open at 7, bell time at 8. Invite all your friends and come see why we are SHW and this is our wrestling.
That's right, man. We'll be up there this Friday, War Chamber. Paul Walterhausen, Blackbird, Cobra Kai. I mean, like, actually not only going to be, by the way, originally broke that he was going to be a meet and greet there, but no, he's actually going to be in the War Chamber match. How
ring.
wild.
Oh,
It's
wow.
crazy.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm so excited. God, how 2 awesome weekends of wrestling in a row, and then I just get another thing that you're going to get another Southern Fried midweek. So how crazy, man. Wrestling. God, it's Georgia wrestling is blooming, folks. I hope independent wrestling where you are is doing so well as it is here. God, and I am so excited about Friday night. War Chamber, how many rings, how many cages, what's all the deal?
2 rings, 1 giant cage. It's the closest thing you're going to get to a War Games. That's I like to say.
You can't say War Games. So
you can't say War Games.
Chamber, Games of War. Oh, man.
But it's going to be a blast, dude. We're going to be at both of those. This, like you said, this weekend. Be a doubleheader. Be at Southern Honor on Friday, Southern Fried on Saturday. Totally looking forward to it. Should be fun. But let's keep it rolling, brother. What's the next one we got?
Oh, Laura Simmons, Pine Bluff, North Carolina. Do you think instead of signing with a big company like AEW or WWE, Nic Nemeth, who we also used to know as Dolph Ziggler, should just take the Matt Cardona route? You know, Matt Cardona, who's basically super indie guy, works all over the place. I mean, he just had an injury to his shoulder, so he had surgery, so he's taking some time off. But Matt Cardona will show up anywhere, work anywhere, and he's doing a great job apparently providing for himself with this gimmick he's got.
Yeah, he's a hustler, dude. Makes a totally great living at, he said last year he made as much as he ever did in WWE doing this route. Total control of his schedule. Nobody can tell him really what to do. He's done some stuff. Think about it. He's done some stuff on AEW. He's done stuff with GCW. He's done stuff with TNA. Total control, which is cool. The answer to my answer for Nic Nemeth having this as a possibility, you ready for this? I think the odds are better for him than even Matt Cardona to pull this off. Nic Nemeth likes to do his comedy stuff as well.
Yeah.
His stand-up stuff. Totally gives him the freedom to do that whenever and what he wants to. I think the biggest asset he has, in my opinion, I don't know if y'all realize this, he has made a ton of money over he had a long career with WWE and made a ton of money. He was making great money when everybody wasn't making great money, which was insane. They were paying him like $1.5 million to lose to guys.
He always had one of the most solid contracts. And if you ever looked at the contract breakdown, it's like, why does he have that contract? Why does he always had $1 million+ contract when other people that were way up ahead of him on the cards didn't. So he was a smart man, very underappreciated as far as talent and where he was on the roster. Kind of like the male Natalia. Extremely talented, great wrestler. He was a champion at one time, if I'm not mistaken.
One of the best cash-ins of all time against Alberto Del Rio. Yep. So
what can you blame him? If you can live your life the way you want to.
If he took care of his money, which, I mean, I'm assuming, and I don't know him, so I'm saying if he took care of his money, there's absolutely no reason for him to lock himself up. Just stay with that freedom. Do what you like to do. Take the paydays. Win and where you want them. Yeah, I think he could. I think he could potentially be. How cool would it be 6 months or a year from now? There's a King of the Indies match. Matt Cardona versus Nic Nemeth.
Nice. And it
That'd be
happened
pretty awesome.
in Atlanta somewhere or someplace nearby that we could catch it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do.
That
I
would
like
just
it.
be
I'm all
awesome.
in.
But we got another one of those. Well, this didn't come from a wrestling fan. This came from a friend of ours. Someone you've known forever. Someone I know. A scientist of all people. A Georgia Bulldog fan. Erica B. from Athens, Georgia. A scientist of some repute. Wants to know what is going on with the Joe Hendry song and its place on the iTunes charts. She didn't even know anything about this guy wrestling. Okay, she found the song first.
Yeah, listen. Apparently, this thing is taken off, and I got to look it up because I can't even remember. His entrance song apparently this past week has just skyrocketed up the iTunes charts. He was let me find him, number 1 in the UK, number 11 in Ireland, and number 44 in the US. Who would have thought that a TNA talent, an entrance song, it's like a minute 15, minute 16, something weird, that it's that high up on the charts. Like TNA, they gotta love the pub that's out there, but like Joe Hendry, kudos to you, brother. That's just, and here's the thing. If you haven't, it's I Believe in Joe Hendry. Just pop it in your iTunes machine and listen to it. It's catchy.
Taylor
listen.
Squared Circle. I mean, what do you want to do with this? I mean, remember when WWE used to release those? I don't know if they still release those albums of entrance music. I hear voices in my head. That song always gives me kind of the creeps. But good for you, Joe Hendry. Make some money. Get noticed.
For every million downloads you make on iTunes, you get like a quarter. Sorry, I'll leave that alone. We're
not going to talk about our reimbursement deals.
No, it's not ours. That's just the musicians. They'll talk about. I saw an interview with Snoop Dogg. Basically said, "Man, I got a thing." They said I hit like 1 million downloads on Spotify, and they're like, "Yeah, what did that pay you?" He's like, and it was some ridiculously low amount of money. And it's like, really, whatever. I was like, yeah, but anyway. But you gotta love it, dude. You gotta love it, man. It's a wrestling bleeding over into the non-wrestling world is a great thing. I know it's this is kind of why I wanted to bring this up. I know a lot of people push back about, hey, man, that doesn't appeal to the IWC or the mass, the diehard wrestling fans. I'm like, dude, wrestling needs casuals. Wrestling needs people that are not wrestling fans to become fans to grow.
Exactly. You
Embrace
have to grow.
it.
You have to make money. You have to not say things about Harvey Weinstein to the non-wrestling public. You have to have a catchy song or a good program. You have to have something good to make people like it. Shiny. Something nice and shiny.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, why is, like, somebody brought this up, like, why is Paul Walterhauser going to be in the ring at Southern Honor? I don't know. Let's go. When we're there Friday, we're going to figure out how many non-wrestling fans show up to see for a meet and greet for a guy from Cobra Kai, Blackbird. He's going to get in the ring. By the way, it's not his first time in the ring. Go on the YouTube channel and just put his name in there in wrestling. Paul Walterhauser Wrestling. He's done, I think 3. I could be wrong, but I think he's done 3 matches. Again, it's because you got to reach out and grow. And listen, Myron, we want to grow, and that where we want to grow is on our YouTube channel. We're completely happy. We love everybody who's given us the support. Make sure you're not only liking the page, you're subscribing to the page. Turn that little notification bell on. That way, as soon as we drop stuff, it'll come right to you. You'll get that notification, and then you can jump in there and watch it. We appreciate everybody who jumps in super quick in the mornings when these episodes drop. We really, really do. Again, there you can become a member just like on our Patreon page, patreon.com/tappedoutpod. Get the early stuff and get it all early, and you get a little bonus content that we've been dropping lately. But look, if you're just I'm an audio guy, I want the 2 podcasts every single week. Those, of course, are dropped on Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartMedia, Apple Podcasts, anywhere and everywhere there is a podcast platform. Yes, we are there, and you can subscribe and get those every week when they drop.
I'm getting a lot of people telling me they're listening on YouTube. You know, they're saying they just take their phone, put it on YouTube, and lay it there while they're working, even driving. Listen to the podcast while they're driving on YouTube or watching on YouTube. It's just one place to get it all. And I know that's gaining in popularity.
Yeah, so, YouTube is the home run place to go. Again, because not only can you, the reason I know a lot of people like YouTube and Patreon as well, but YouTube is not only can you get the regular shows, all the interviews are there, all the extra content. It's behind the paywall, but it's easy to sign up. You're right there, join, pick your tier, and you're in. So it's absolutely, into my opinion, one of the best. Obviously, we're big YouTube fans. But look, it's a great way to support the show there on YouTube. Other ways to, we hopefully support the show by supporting our sponsors, man. jmartinandcompany.com, pressure washing, window cleaning. They do driveways, they do it all. Again, commercial and residential, not just residential stuff. They can handle your business needs, your personal needs. jmartinandcompany.com. And of course, look, we talked about audio podcasting. If you're wanting to get into a podcast world and you want to do some of that stuff, Libsyn.com. Best place I promise you, best place to do your server right there, Libsyn.com. Use the promo code TAPPED and picked up in a couple months for free when you sign up. Libsyn.com, promo code TAPPED. Myron, that was a lot of questions, man. We appreciate all those questions. Make sure you're sending those tappedOutPod@gmail.com.
You know, a question I get a lot is, where do people get these charming T-shirts we sell, Nick? And where do they find those T-shirts?
ProWrestlingTees.com. I promise you, just go there and it's Tapped Out Wrestling. It'll come up. And there's actually more and more shirts. We keep putting them up there. So there's all kinds of different stuff there now. Even back to the originals. I've kept all the originals. We're not getting rid of the originals as we add new stuff. So buy a couple. And look, again, don't just buy our shirts when you go there. Search out your favorite indie wrestlers. See if they've got a store on there as well. Buy their shirt too and support them as well, man. It's fun.
Amen.
Anything else before we get out of here today, brother?
Nope. Support indie wrestling. Go to indie wrestling. Enjoy it. Enjoy all wrestling right now. We're in a great spot in the wrestling business. Love y'all. I'll see y'all next time.
Well, what's the old saying, brother? If I've got nothing, you've got nothing. What time is it?
It's time to tap out.